Hi everyone, welcome to my in-depth review slash examination of the collaborative resource Desmos. So a little bit of a background about Desmos and how I've used it in my classroom. To be honest, one thing I've struggled with when it comes to online teaching is finding good resources to engage students and to actively get feedback from them as well. Desmos is probably the only resource I have found that I've been able to successfully use. So I'm glad to have the opportunity to kind of explain it and show you how it can be useful in a math class. So yeah, first things first, you will just need to either log in or sign up. You can log in through Google, so if you have a Google account, it shouldn't be an issue. So I'm going to sign in through my school account. That's where I use Desmos from. So once you're there, you can use Desmos for a variety of different things. I'm mostly going to focus on the teacher aspect of it and the activities that you can do for teachers. So go to the teacher section, browse activities. Pretty much what this is a variety of different interactive activities that you can do with your classes. It's got a bunch of different topics that you can choose from. It is mostly for math and science related topics, and typically more of the middle school to high school range. One kind of I guess, not really fault, but one thing that I wish it could be improved on is there's no way to really create your own lessons in Desmos. They're all created for you from the Desmos website or the company that runs it. So if they don't have the topic you're teaching, then you can't really use it. So that's definitely one hindrance of it. But pretty much you can just pick a topic. For example, Inequalities is what I've been teaching my 7th graders recently. There's a bunch of different activities that you can use and have your kids pretty much sign into. So just to show you what it looks like, I did an activity with, well, it should be here. That's it, yeah. Inequalities on a number line with my 7th graders. So the code is now inactive, but I could reactivate it if I want. If I want more additional students to join it. But pretty much what I did was I did this as kind of like a warm-up in my classes, but I could very easily do this as a entire lesson if I wanted to. But the students get a code that they can join, just like a quizzes or a Kahoot or anything else like that. So they can pretty much join the activity, which kind of looks like this. These are a bunch of my students who have joined already and completed it. One thing I really like about it is, if I can just show you what a student's screen would look like, they would start on the first slide, and then you can make it asynchronous, where they can just move through the activity and work at their own pace. Or if you wanted to make it more synchronous, more teacher-led, more instruction for them, you can click on this pacing guide up here on the left side. Then you can select a screen to start with. And then they would be on that screen with you. And you can pretty much navigate through it, and you can make them stay with you the entire time so they can't go ahead or be behind you at any point. So that's just one cool little feature I think it has. But yeah, you can kind of see a little summary. While they're working asynchronously, you can see what slide they're on. You can't see it now because no one's in here, but like for Barbara, for example, she could be on slide 3 and it would be highlighted green here, and Claire could have been on slide 6 and it would be highlighted slide 6, so I could see where they're working. Another thing that I really like about it is interactive, and they can interact with each other through it. I think that's definitely one of the positives to this, is that they can kind of problem solve together and they can reflect on what is happening as they're working through it. So for example, if I go back to the student slide here, if you just go through it, all we're really doing for these first couple slides, we're placing points that are, example, less than 3. So they come here, place a point, move on to the next slide, do it a couple more times. Then they have a question where they have to answer. I said it says yikes because I haven't done it here. Maybe it'd help if I go to an actual student's example. So for Barbara, placed 1 less than 3. place another point less than 3, place another point less than 3, and then what would the graph look like if all your classmates' points were shown along with yours? There would be lots of dots to the left of 3. Perfect. So she would write that in, she would submit it, and then typically when you go to the next slide is the reveal section. So actually all the other points that her classmates put here will pop up as well. So you can see the dark blue ones, the ones she put, the light blue, what her classmates said. And then another section for her to pretty much answer the question, and then 3 other student responses would pop up here as well, that she can see what her classmates are thinking and see what how they're reflecting to the questions. So again, one hindrance of it is you can't really interact back and forth between it with them. They can't really comment on each other's work, but they can at least see what their classmates are thinking. They can reflect on it. They can problem solve together, and yeah, I think it's a great resource for them to use. So it kind of just keeps building on itself, keeps getting harder. They get to eventual like card sorting questions where it starts showing like mastery, where they're connecting, well, this graph would show a number is less than 4, which would match with this equation. So yeah, it's definitely not hitting all of the collaborative outcomes from the Chapter 5 article we read from Rice, but it definitely hits a few key ones. I think it really allows them to reflect on their work and see the reflection of their peers. So I think that's super awesome. Definitely promotes problem solving. If they're stuck on something, they can kind of see what some of their classmates are saying to help them along the way. It definitely shows an opportunity to demonstrate mastery once they get towards the end of the activity. As for the social presence in it, really the only social presence I think it doesn't really hit a whole lot on is the affective association. I think the rest of them it at least briefly covers. The knowledge and experience, this one doesn't have the best example of it, but a lot of the times there's some kind of like prior knowledge component built into the very beginning where it asks them to pull from some previous experiences that they should already have. The instructor involvement, like I said, I can make it synchronous and pace it with the students, or I can allow them to do it asynchronously. They can interact with each other through the website to see what kind of reflections and what they are predicting and see the results from it. So, yeah. One other cool feature is this Anomize feature. So if I go back to the summary, I want to take off this pacing. If you have kids that you know are kind of shy and they're not going to actually write their explanations, you can Anomize it where the names come up as something different. So when they get to, I don't know, the reflecting slides, when they see their other students' responses or when they write their own response, it would come up as some code name or some different name that they wouldn't know who it actually is. So if you have any shy students, that's a cool little feature that Desmos has as well. So yeah, that is all I got for my video. Hopefully you guys like Desmos, and if you're ever teaching math, you can give it a shot, and hopefully you can find an activity that works. Thanks.